Good morning, my Teaserking family. How are we today? Another day, another another dollar, another life, another day where we're still alive, I guess. Isn't life interesting? We just do things that we enjoy to do. If you're stoic, you really enjoy it because you're fine by yourself, you're fine with people, you don't take bullshit from anybody, and you use your intelligence. So it's good. Um, let's look at gold. So again, the game keeps going on and on and on. Oh, I have a good Bitcoin thing for us. So, okay, what's happening here? 40.75 with the Chinese, the British, the Europe takes it and it goes down to 40.40. Then it goes back up. Then it goes back down at 6 o'clock to 40.50. Then it goes up and up. And we get 41.05. And it's 10 o'clock, and now everybody shorts, and now it's 40.71. Can anybody, does this make any sense? Prices don't move like this. Physical gold would never move like this. It would just go up. As long as there's demand, the price goes up. What happens when there's no demand, you put things on sale. So what this is saying is, well, there's no demand for gold at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then apparently there's no demand at 10 o'clock, but there is demand from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. There's demand for gold. The whole thing's a joke. Do they think we're this stupid? No, we know what's going on, and it makes for a fantastic buying opportunity, which is what we've done, knowing the physical price is 10 times this paper price. And silver, we keep, today is the day. Andy Scheckman, today is the day silver is going to go 100 times, all these other idiots. No, not until the paper's gone. And the reason they have it is so they can buy it cheap. So if we want to buy, and there's this option called COMEX, and they keep the price down, are we going to stop it? No, I can get silver for $50.84. I can pay $2 over. I can buy silver 52.84 because these idiots keep shorting it. Thank you very much. That's how you must look at it. We know we want it higher. Of course, we want to make money, but we're not doing this to profit take. We are doing this to make money and get out of losing money in the dollar. So once you understand that, you don't feel bad. I mean, sure, I look at it and it's 4,067 now, the gold, and you're going, what the fuck's it going down for? And you can't play that. It'll end up at 10,000, and it's just along the way. It's like a football game. We had a big lock on Baltimore over Cleveland last week, and Baltimore's fucking around and they're losing, and Lamar throws a pick six, and you're like, we're losing 13-3, and we're it's insane. But then at the end, Baltimore wins 23-16. But getting there, Cleveland gets a pick six from Lamar. Lamar stinks. Pick six. Lamar. He throws a pick six. Then they go down and drive. If they get the ball to 15, he throws an interception. Then they get the ball to 5 and they kick a field goal. Then they have to kick another field goal. We're laying 1 point. Just win the fucking game. So finally, at the end, without Lamar, they score on the Mark Andrews tush push around the end, which I'm surprised Philadelphia does the same play every time. That very tough. Anyway, at the end of the day, Baltimore won, but getting there wasn't. At the end of the day, gold will be 25, 30,000. Getting there is the tough part, but you can't put it this way. We're better off out of the dollar that has no value and in gold than being in the dollar. We're better off because even if you make money, it's still in dollars. It's not anything. So we're better off in gold than not in gold. And then it's just let the gold price go on. And these people are fighting it wanting it to, oh, we don't want gold. Because then they won't be in the dollar and they won't play the stock market and they won't buy bonds and the whole thing. Real quickly, I am on a fast today. Yes, coffee is allowed on the fast. I can't show it. There. Coffee is allowed on the fast as long as I don't put sweet and low or sugar in it. So I didn't put my honey in it. And then I have water with ginger, cinnamon, and lemon. And that's my nutrition for the last 2 days. I started this Tuesday night at 6. I wasn't even going to fast. I just had dinner. I went to the Coney Island. And I had 3 eggs with bacon, and I got the hash browns, and that was it. And I wasn't thinking of fasting. I woke up yesterday. I looked at myself and said, nah, I need to fast. So it was really, by 6 o'clock, it was 24 hours. That's the funny part about fast. You just skip one day, it's 24 hours because you eat dinner at 6 o'clock-ish, and then just don't eat lunch, and then you're at dinner, and it's 24 hours. Now I'm on 36 hours. Now I'm on 42 hours. It'll be 42 hours in a half hour. Without doing it, just missing one day's eating dinner Tuesday, not eating yesterday. Because I don't normally eat till now, like 11:30. It's not a big deal. Took my walk. I went grocery shopping. Be careful grocery shopping when you're fasting, because you will buy things that you probably don't need to. But most of it, I need a lot of fruit and veggies. Got my eggs and my half and half and stuff. A lot of turkeys on sale for Thanksgiving. Knowing demand is high, look what they do. They put their turkeys on sale. They don't raise the prices to $20 going, well, we'll just have the whales buy the turkeys. We don't care if the regular people buy the turkeys, like Vegas. Anyway, so you see things on sale because they want you to buy it. I looked at roast, but I didn't. They had like rump roast and that. No. I want to buy like a London roast, so I'll go to my other grocery store, pay a dollar more, but at least it's nice and fresh. These are all packaged, so you can't even really see the roast. So I think I'll make roast for Thanksgiving. I don't know. I can't make a 10-pound turkey. It'd take forever, and I don't want to give half of it to Alyssa, and because she gets her own. Her family has it. So anyway. Jenna's freaking out in Ukraine because they have no power. She gets home from work and there's no lights and no water. And I go, well, you can thank Zelensky for that. It's because Russia's going after the power plants. And so they're basically, but they're not dark all day. And she does work where it is light. So she, she wasn't too happy about that, as I understand. Daria's fine. So everybody's good. All right. Let's talk real quick on Bitcoin. And then we'll go to football. And I don't mean to hold you, but let's just do this quickly. I noticed Bitcoin price yesterday was 80 something. And today it's 88,000. 88,000. Wasn't it 120? Wasn't it going to 200, 500, a million? Oops. So they got me into thinking, watching a video on Trump trying to pay the debt off with Bitcoin. So you'll see the way my mind works. Let's see. Good news here is BlackRock looks like they're in big trouble because they they buy the things, but they the way BlackRock works, the way Vegas is working, is they buy Caesars and then charge them rent. So that's what these Apollos and Vanguards and BlackRocks and Blackstones do. They buy it and then charge you. Then I'm going to buy it because you're in debt and you can keep it, but then you're going to pay me rent. You pay me a lot of rent. But what if they don't pay the rent? What if they go bankrupt, which is what Caesars, Bellagio, Venetian, they're all doing? Then they don't get paid back. So they're just like a bank, but they're buying it after. So in other words, you want to buy a house, you go to the bank. I want to buy a house, and you put down 10, 20%, and then they give you this mortgage, and they're hoping you pay back. But BlackRock and Apollo and everybody in Vegas is saying they've already bought it. We'll buy it from you, and then we'll charge you rent. So we'll buy it because you're in debt, mostly from 2008. We'll buy it from you. You pay us rent. However, if they don't pay the rent, they're broke, and that's what's happening here with BlackRock. Nobody, they're all bailing out on the rent. These all these companies that they bought. So you think BlackRock is? They're not. They don't own Caesars. They own it, but they don't really. They need the money from Caesars on the rent to actually have money. So they don't really have money. Where's this thing I was looking at? Anyway, so that's what a real estate trust is. I really hate these titles. Every small gold and silver holder must watch this now. I mean, I don't watch it out of principle. What the fuck's he talking about? And why is he doing that? Here's AI crypto crash goes global. And you can see it went from 120 to 88. Where's this one thing? All right, here. The $42 trillion reset. How the U.S. will wipe out its debt, mostly by Bitcoin. So his premise was, we're going to revalue Bitcoin at $1 million a coin. Well, it's not a coin. There is no coins. And that'll raise the price. And then somehow they'll use that to pay the debt off. There's only one problem with that. What's the value of the Bitcoin? It's valued in dollars, correct? US dollars. There is no Bitcoin, so they can't value it in Bitcoin. Well, how about gold? You don't need dollars for gold. Gold is money. Gold can be valued in gold. They just choose to value it in dollars, which they shouldn't be. But gold has its own value. If you take the dollar out, the dollar goes to zero, as it already has. Gold then has its own value. Gold will be worth 20,000. Not even, it won't even be in dollars. Gold will buy this house. Gold will buy this car. So you take an ounce of gold and you buy something. That's how they did it in Rome. It was the Appian way, which you see at Caesars. And basically, there'd be shops selling bread and food and togas and have toga parties and everything. And you would pay with probably 1 or 2 ounces of silver. And that was the money. There was no printed money there. So gold and silver had its value. You buy a house, you probably gave the guy gold. The soldiers fought for 1 ounce of gold. All the Roman armies, that's how you paid them for 1 year, 1 ounce of gold. And they would fight for you. So the fly in the ointment here is they don't understand anything. Nobody wants to face the dollar's worthless, except for us, of course. So to try this, okay, they're going to try to say, here, Russia, we owe you $5 trillion of the 38 trillion because you bought our treasuries here. We're going to pay you in Bitcoin. And Putin's going to say, not a chance. And the problem is, no matter what you do, if you try to pay him in dollars, why don't we just pay him in Amazon stock or Microsoft or NVIDIA, which I think they're crashing too. AI stocks are about to crash if they haven't already. So why don't we just pay them in stocks? The stock market is worth, you know, I don't know if we have anything worth 38 trillion, but we can pay them 10 trillion with our stocks. We can't give them money because they don't want it. They're selling the money for gold. So anything in money you cannot use to pay out the debt. Otherwise, just print 38 trillion and pay the debt down. Why don't we do that? We have a printing press because it won't be worth anything. Therefore, the Bitcoin, you can make it $10 million. Why don't they make it 10 million a coin? Why don't they make it a trillion a coin? Here's 37 coins. There's our debt paid off because it's not worth anything. The other thing so you can't use Bitcoin or stable coin to pay off the debt because it's valued in dollars and the dollar has no value. And you might as well just use dollars instead of Bitcoin or stable coin. It will not work because they have no value because they're not real. So you cannot pay the debt off with stable coin or Bitcoin. And with gold, nobody knows you have it. Again, thinking of the difference between like drug people and gold people. So you have the mafia and they sell their heroin and they get all this money and they buy these nice houses and nice cars, but the government says you don't show that you're working. That's how they get caught on tax fraud, right? Well, you made $100 million, like Scarface, you made $100 million selling heroin and cocaine, but you didn't pay tax on it. But if you really think it through, how could you pay tax on it? You can't pay tax on it because if you report it on your income tax, you go to jail for selling drugs. So they painted themselves in a corner with what they're doing. Right? So if I sell drugs or if I'm a prostitute and I get money in, I can't report that either. I can't do a tax return. I'm a prostitute. I made $100 grand. I want to pay my taxes. You can't. You can't do illegal things and pay tax on it, yet they'll get you for tax evasion because you didn't pay tax on the illegal thing you did, but you couldn't file a tax return. So what do? Just, well, here, I'm going to pay you 50,000 in taxes, but just because for the hell of it, you know? So it's a real screwy situation. Now for gold, are we worried about that? Well, if we don't get a 1099, we don't owe taxes, right? Okay, we sold 10 ounces of gold. Do we pay tax on it? No. We're not getting a 1099, but we're not doing anything illegal. We're just selling our assets as if I was selling a Mantle card or the Canadian Club 12-year or my gold chain. If I sell that, I'm not paying tax on it. I have it of value. It's worth something. This is worth about $3 grand right now. It's 75%. It's 18 karat of the 4 grams. So let's call it $3 grand. Why would I pay tax on it? This isn't my asset. What's the difference if I have it like this or I turn it into money? It's the same thing. I turn it into fake cash. Actually, what would I pay in taxes? Well, I sold it, so it's really not worth anything. The value I got for it was zero. But in my mind, this is like winning at poker, going to MGM and playing poker, winning $2 grand. I'm not going to pay tax on that either. Is that income? Nah, I don't know. It's gambling winnings. Maybe it's income. But you didn't 1099 me, so why would I pay tax on it? And that's why I think the gambling's so popular and these football prop bets and all this football stuff is really not taxable. Like I said, you go to the casino, you go to Caesars and you play roulette and red hits 20 times in a row and you make $5 grand. You're not paying tax on it. They're not 1099ing you and you're not paying tax on it. So that's the difference. But are you doing anything illegal? No, it's legal to gamble. It's legal to buy gold. It's legal to sell gold. So you're not doing anything illegal. But as long as you're not getting a 1099, what they don't know won't hurt them, and I wouldn't pay tax on it. But you're not buying $1 million mansion with the gold you're selling. At least not yet. We will later on, but who cares? We bought gold, and if we have to pay a tax on the house, we'll pay a tax on the house, but not on selling an ounce or two of gold does not make you owe tax on it. And again, without the 1099, there's really no tracking. I mean, that's really what happened. I mean, the drug guys get, because what are you doing? You know, because they're idiots. They buy $1 million house and they buy Ferraris, and it's like, no, you buy a Camry and you just live in a $200,000 house, but it's the way you bought the house, because they're gonna see on your report no thing. So you need to buy it from somebody and just give them cash. I want to buy your house. Here's $300,000. Sort of like Bugsy did when he, early in the movie, he goes to California and he buys that opera singer's house. And he just gives him cash. That's how you got to buy the house. Then nobody knows anything. But when you start doing banking and signing things, I want a mortgage. So the drug guys really shouldn't buy too expensive of a house and shouldn't do that. For drug people, I'd buy gold and silver and just put it away. And, nobody knows. You don't want people to know. You got to be stoic. Nobody knows. I have a stoic one we're going to watch. Let's watch this stoic thing. Anyway, so you cannot use Bitcoin stablecoin to pay off the debt because that's priced in dollars. And when the dollar collapses, the Bitcoin price can be $1 million of zero, of nothing, of paper that's worthless. So that idea will not work. The dollars collapse, but these Keynesians and government are too stupid to understand that. And therefore, their plan will never work. Buying gold right now would have been a good plan. But why, you have to cut costs, but they won't do it because they want to get reelected and get all the freebies without realizing the money's worthless. All right. So I found a nice stoic one yesterday. I can find it. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Okay, 2 minutes. 8 signs you make people nervous. All right. Why do you make people nervous? I make a lot of people nervous, but it's not intentional.
8 signs you intimidate people without realizing it. Sometimes you don't intimidate people. 8 signs you intimidate people without realizing it. Sometimes you don't intimidate people with your strength. You intimidate them with the things you don't show. 1. Your silence makes people nervous. You don't talk unless there's a reason. Your silence forces others to face themselves, and weak people hate that. 2. You hold eye contact. Not aggressively, just steady. It shows self-respect. Most people aren't used to someone who doesn't look away first. 3. You don't try to impress anyone. You're comfortable in your own skin. People who rely on validation feel threatened by someone who doesn't need it. 4. You do react emotionally. When others expect anger or panic, you remain calm. This level of control is intimidating because it shows mastery over yourself. 5. You set boundaries quickly. You don't explain or apologize for them. This scares people who are used to crossing others without resistance. 6. You make decisions fast. You don't overthink. You don't ask for permission. That confidence makes insecure people uncomfortable. 7. You don't fear being alone. You enjoy your own company. This makes people wonder, what does he know about himself that we do? 8. You see people clearly. You read intentions, energy, and behavior patterns instantly. People feel exposed around you, as if you can see right through them. Because true intimidation doesn't come from force. It comes from calmness, boundaries, and a mind that cannot be shaken. This is Stoic strength. This is the mindset we teach here on Stoic True Wisdom.
The wealthy people are also going to get.
All right, here's a quick EGON. We might as well do that.
When stock markets come down by 75 to 95%, bond markets likewise, and property market maybe 50 to 75%, if not more. That is not wealth preservation, and therefore the only thing you have left then is gold and some silver. And everyone around her. Ideally.
So that, the Stoic, I pretty much do all those. I look around and people, why are you staring at me? I'm not staring at you. I'm reading the situation, just looking. I don't really stare at people with intent. I see a pretty girl. I'll look at her. Why not? She's a pretty girl. But there's a lot, I don't talk to a lot of people because they're just a waste of time. That's what I like about class here. We can talk gold, we can talk Stoic, we can talk women, we can talk health, we can talk football. And it's hard to find places you can do that because it's very hard. At the gym, I start talking gold and the guy doesn't want to hear it. Football, it's the Lions. You look at girls, they get all scared. What are you looking at? Well, I'm looking at your face, your body, whatever. You're attractive. That's the point, right? Anyway, so that's a little bit there. Let's see what gold is, 40, 60. See, it's still the 10 o'clock drop till about noon. It's such bullshit. Silver was 51 and change. It was 52 yesterday. It's 50, 62. It's all meaningless. It's all options. It's got nothing to do with the market. All right, let's see what the hell is happening in pro football. There's so many injuries and everything. Now college is I'm gonna crush college this week. I've already posted 4 teams in locks, so 2 different locks with 4 different teams, so 4 locks. And I probably found a few others that I haven't locked yet that I really like. I'm watching the Oklahoma-Alabama game just before, and I'm like, okay. Teams need to win to make the playoff or to win their conference. So you got to keep an eye on that. There's teams with 2 losses must win. Keep an eye on that. So college gets much more interesting this week and next week as they're juggling for position in playoffs and to win their conference. That makes it very good. But pros, we've got what the hell was going on here? Let's talk about the pros. We've got injuries. All right, tonight we got Buffalo 5.5, 43.5. The Kincaid, the tight end's out with a couple other guys that I've never heard of. CJ Stroud's out. So we got Allen against Mills. We've got 5.5, 43.5, and that number really hasn't changed. Buffalo being a B team with a 23 defense. Houston, an under team with the best defense in the league. Points-wise, it's 16. And really, that's all we care. I don't care about yards or first downs or anything. At the end of the day, they give up 16 points on average. Now, yes, they play Tennessee, and they play Jacksonville, and they play Indy, although Indy's scoring more this year. So when we look at it, Buffalo, not that great on the road. Houston is 10-0 this year in a teaser, 26-3 the last 2 years. Even with CJ Stroud, even with no offense, their defense scores for them, and they're very good at home. So they're a very live dog here. Buffalo, as we see, losing at Miami is not a great road team. However, they do beat Tampa and Kansas City at home. So then it depends where Buffalo plays. At home, yes. On the road, And that's the problem. That's why I do my all my analysis based on personality. Are they a home favorite or a home dog, or a road favorite or a road dog? Now, that's just one way I pick the game. So first I see Houston. Oh, look at their 16 thing. They're 10-0 in a teaser. They're 26-3 the last 2 years. What are they going to do? We're a little scared of Buffalo because of the offense, but they'll be all over Josh Allen today. And again, we saw him against Miami. So that's what we look at. They're 7-3. They're a game behind New England, who I believe is 8-2. So with that said, they need the game. Houston needs the game. Houston's 5-5. Kansas City's 5-5. Baltimore's 5-5. They all need the game. So then you look at it from that standpoint. So Houston needs the game more than Buffalo. Houston's at home, and the defense always travels. So this should be an interesting game today. Is Houston a live dog? I would say, yeah. With Mills, he's played before. It's not like he's Caleb where he's incapable of throwing a pass. Caleb's strength is scrambling. Well, that's not why I want a quarterback. I need a quarterback who can actually throw the fucking ball to my receivers. So anyway, it should be an interesting game. Houston, live dog. I think Houston is always an under, but you got to be careful with that. They played Jacksonville a really high game, and then they played Tennessee a really low game. So I think it depends on who they play if you go over or under. And Buffalo being an over team because they score, but not the greatest defense. So this is a tough play. Again, it's Thursday night. Buffalo off the Tampa Bay win. Not as emotional as the Kansas City win, which obviously took a lot out of them. But watch the lines. As far as I know, that's the only injury. We'll go to injuries after. The JETSs go to Baltimore, and we've got Baltimore 13.5, 44.5. We got Tyrod Taylor against, I believe, Lamar, who's now got a hurt ankle and a hurt knee. He'll just use any excuse to say why he sucked last week. Throwing, 2 picks, really doing nothing, didn't run, I think he's getting scared, and I don't think he's too intelligent. So I don't buy Baltimore laying 13.5 with Lamar. I think he's injured more than he's leading on, but I think he has to play because they're losing, and he's getting paid all this money. He ain't getting paid to sit on the bench. The JETSs go with Tyrod Taylor because Fields sucks. Fields cannot throw a ball more than 10 yards down the field without it being intercepted or incomplete. He can't spot his receivers. And you notice the way the Jets scores, Fields running the ball. I don't think Fields understands what a quarterback is. He's supposed to throw the ball. You don't see Stafford running it in for the touchdown or Mahomes. Once in a blue moon, when it's a big game, but it's by the goal line and it's kind of a design run. But you see him throw to Kelsey and Rice and all these other guys a lot more than he runs. Baltimore is a over team with a 25 defense, and their defense is not playing well. The JETSs are a W team, 27 defense. So a good Baltimore team should blow them out, but you don't have a good Baltimore team. You got Lamar. Play against the Jets 23-4. Play against the Jets as a road dog 9-1, and they're play against them 5-0 on the road. So you definitely want to play against the Jets, but you got to use cadence here. They're 13.5. I mean, the Jets are 19.5. It's hard to pass up, but I wouldn't play it. I'm not afraid of Baltimore because Lamar's injured. They got to win by 2 touchdowns, of which they couldn't beat fucking Cleveland. The Jets, they're a weak team. I mean, but it's a hard, as I've said before, to lay 13.5. Even the tease at 7.5 is not comfortable. Baltimore can win by 7. Look at last week; they won by 7 over Cleveland, and that they took the lead, and that was it. So you got to be very careful. I mean, how did they not blow out Cleveland with Caleb in the game? Just really reeks. Is the game fixed with Baltimore? Harbaugh, I wouldn't be surprised if he fixed his games. Such a bad coach. Lamar throwing these bad interceptions. So there's fixing going on with Baltimore. Remember, they fixed Super Bowl III when they laid down to the Jets. That was a fix. The owner of Baltimore bet on the Jets $1 million in 69 on a money line. So there you go. Indy KC 3.5, 50.5. Who is Indy? And again, I think here's where they're going to run into problems because they basically give Taylor the ball. You're not going to run on Spagnuolo's defense. Then you have KC 5-5 has to win. Now, they played a very hard schedule, and I thought they probably thought this would be an easy game, but Indy's turned out to be a decent team, 8-2. Indy an A team with the 21 defense and Daniel Jones, and KC a B team with an 18 defense and Mahomes. Indy 7-1 as a road dog, 9-1 overall this year. Play against them as a road dog, 7-1, and KC is 12-1 as a home favorite. KC in a do and die game at home. Do you bet Mahomes or Daniel Jones? Okay, Taylor, I guarantee you Spagnuolo takes Taylor out. So now Jones has to win on his own, and that ain't happening. This is a big game. This is Mahomes' time. So I think you probably want to go KC. I'm thinking you can go – the total is 50. I think you can go under in the game because you got KC with an 18 defense, and they're going to run Taylor. He ain't going anywhere. All right, not against Spagnuolo, not against this defense, right? Against an 18 defense. This isn't – they're not playing Tennessee and Indianapolis and Jacksonville. We should see what they do against Houston. But this isn't Houston because it's Mahomes. So I'll be shocked if Kansas City doesn't win this game, or at least getting 2.5 in a teaser, not covering. I'd be shocked. This is not the time I want to play Indy. Plus 9.5. They went to the Rams and lost, and they lost one other game. I don't know. I'll have to check that. Seattle goes to Tennessee. Seattle is 13.5, 40.5. They're the A team with a 19 defense, although Darnell choked again against the Rams. Tennessee is Z team with the 27 defense and Ward. Seattle is 12-1 on the road the last 2 years, 9-1 in a teaser, and play against Tennessee is a home dogs 5-0. Play against Tennessee the last 2 years is 24-3. Play against Tennessee at home is 13-0, which is also favorite and dog. So this is Seattle 12-1 on the road and play against Tennessee 13-0. Now we're dealing with 13.5 spread, but I tell you, I'd rather take Seattle down to 7 than take Baltimore down to 7. I mean, Tennessee's probably playing the worst. Seattle is probably playing Tennessee's probably worse than the Jets. They both have 27 defenses. But I think after the loss to the Rams, Seattle should be – you have the time. Again, Seattle, a 1 o'clock game. So they got to, again, travel. It's 10 o'clock. And then you have Tennessee, and Cab Ward just stinks. So – I don't know. Tennessee, I thought, had a little better defense than a 27. But Ward stinks. Darnell chokes, but he shouldn't choke here. This is a game Darnell does good in. They're playing a shit team. We're noticing this more and more. The Lions are the most famous. When they play a good team, they don't even show up. And when they play a bad team, they put up 50 points just to make you think they're good. And I think Seattle's like that too. And Darnold's specifically like that, where he puts up a big game here, but then they go to the Rams and he throws 4 picks. Joe Montana does not throw 4 picks when he plays a good team. Joe Montana won 4 Super Bowls and didn't throw 1 pick. He did the drive against Cincinnati, right? The one with John Candy in the stands, and they win the game. The last 20 seconds, Montana drove them down 80 yards, and they win. Do you think Darnold could do that? Well, he didn't do that against the Rams last week. You know who could do that is Stafford. Mahomes could do that. I doubt Jalen Hurts could do that. That's really what I look for when I bet, and when I'm looking to who to bet, and when I bitch at certain quarterbacks. How many times has Lamar in a big game taken us down the field and won the game for us? Oh yeah, 0. Josh Allen, has done. He did it against Baltimore last year. Darnold can't do that against the Lions. He didn't show up in the playoffs. He didn't show up. I'm sure he won't show up in the big games either. But keep that in mind. We bet against him, but keep that in mind. He's not a winner. He doesn't know how to win the game. That's why Montana's Montana. Brady's Brady. Drew Brees. That's why they were. Peyton Manning couldn't do that. He sucked. His Omaha's steaks and all that. He could not do that. Very rarely did he go down and beat Brady or win games. Like he would get ahead 20-0, but if he got down and he needed to score, very rarely did he do it. Anyway, that's your lesson. So be careful of Darnold. It's a good play. Maybe you do a 10-point teaser to get it down to 3. That would be good. Or a 7, get it to 6. Maybe do that. But 7's a tough number, but probably doable. And after the loss, we'll go into the schedules in a minute. Green Bay 6.5, 41. Love. I thought he was a little banged up, but I think he'll be all right. Josh Jacobs is banged up, the running back, against Minnesota. And again, we got JJ, the bum. Minnesota, an under team with a 23 defense. Green Bay, a B team with a 20 defense. But lately, they're not a B team. All right, they got 27 on the wonderful Giants. They lost fucking home to Carolina and got 7 points on Philadelphia, who then gave up 9 points to the Lions. Is Philly on? Yeah, Philly's on here. So, I mean, Love's another choker. Couldn't win the game. Couldn't beat Philly. The game they had to win, couldn't beat them. We'll see it. Now, here's a big game for him. But, again, J.J. McCarthy, you can't bet on him to win the game. He's going to throw 2 or 3 interceptions. Micah Parsons will be all over this guy. That's where you want Micah Parsons. The only teasers trend I have is their Green Bay 10-2 is a home favorite. Lombardi comes to those games. So it's tough. Green Bay with the 20. It's Micah Parsons against the Minnesota defense. Basically, neither quarterback's any good. I don't get it. Detroit and the Giants. Detroit 10-50 to the Giants. Giants a W team, 27 defense, and we don't know who the quarterback is. Is it Dart or Winston? It looks like they're assuming Winston with this 10-point spread. Detroit's a B team with the 22 defense, and Golf, who stinks, play against the Giants 23-5. Play against them as a road dog, 11-2, 6-0 this year. There's no trend on the Lions. They are not. They're losing too many games, and at home, the Minnesota game and a couple others where they haven't covered. So they're not that strong, and everybody, it's like a pitcher comes with Clayton Kershaw. He was only good because of his motion. He'd come underneath and nobody saw it, so nobody could hit it. And then they figured him out, and then they hit him all over. And that's what you have here. You have Detroit came out with the razzle-dazzle and the running and the play action and all that. And then everybody's now figured them out. Philly's figured them out. Green Bay figured them out. KC figured them out. The Giants won't figure them out because they don't have the defense. 27 defense. So the Lions should have a big game here. Injuries, their secondary's out again, but their backup seems to be okay. Their offensive line sucks, even if they bring in new guys. An offense, you can bring in guys in your secondary, okay. You can't bring in guys on your offensive line because I'm guarding one guy. So either I can guard as a cornerback or I can't. Offensive line is a chemistry, it's a team. I got to know if I'm the center where the guards are going to be. And if I'm the guard, I got to know how my tackle plays in the center. It's not something you can just put a guy in and say, oh, okay. You got to be together for 10, 12 games and learn, oh, he's going to, here comes Micah Parsons. Who's picking him up? Oh, I thought he was picking him up. No, I thought he was. And that's the problem with the new guys on the offensive line. It doesn't work like the secondary. So they got big problems there. Now, will it affect them against the Giants? Well, they got Thibodeau and they got the guy from Penn State, whatever his name is. So they can cause problems. Detroit will probably look to run the ball. Again, I don't know why this right tackle, why they're paying him so much money, and they're keeping him at right tackle. If you want him, then you put him to left tackle. And you get rid of your left tackle. Otherwise, there's no point in having a good right tackle and a good left tackle because they only have one good pass rusher usually, and the left tackle blocks him. Who's the right tackle blocking, right? Nobody. So he's not as good as you think he is because he's got no action. Does he guard the quarterback? No. The quarterback can see because he's right-handed. You don't run to the right, you run to the left. So I really don't know why you'd waste your money on that when you could have some better defense. So the Lions, weak offensive line. The offensive coordinator is basically fired with the head coach is calling the plays. So what is that? So I look at that as trouble. Detroit off of the loss, and they got Green Bay Thanksgiving. Now remember, next week's Thanksgiving. Off the loss, they have to win. I think they'll pound it. I think they cover here. At least it's 10 and not 13. Well, we're waiting for who's quarterbacking the Giants, Dart or Winston. And that's a major pattern this week. Who's the quarterback? New England, Cincinnati. New England, 6.5, 50.5. Oh, yeah, there's a guy named Joe Burrow who is back. Can't bet New England here. If Joe Burrow plays, then Cincy turns into they're a W team with a 33 defense, and New England's an A team with a 19 defense. If Burrow plays, the defense turns into a 25 defense, and they turn into an over team. The reason they give up 33 a game because of the turnovers. Right? If you're turning the ball over, they're getting the ball at the 10, your defense looks terrible. But if you got Burrow driving you down the field, they're going to score. Now, there's one problem. We've lost Chase for the game because he spit on the guy last week at Pittsburgh who probably swore at him or did something about calling him names or whatever, and he spit on the guy. So he appealed, but he didn't win it. So he's out this game. I believe it's this game. So Burrow without Chase is hurting. He has Higgins. He has the tight end. He has the other guy who was really good in preseason, but that's the thing. So you got to be careful there without Chase. New England, we'll see. Now Cincinnati. Now if Burrow doesn't play, then we're going to be on New England. But he's practicing. He's playing. He isn't wasting his time practicing. Burrow doesn't need practice. Superstars don't need. They just go out on the field. So I would believe Burrow is playing, and then it's Burrow and 12.5 at home is pretty much a lock. Their defense sucks, but he'll eat up New England's defense. He'll show you if they're a 19 defense or not. So let's see if he's playing, and then I think we've lost Chase, and then New England's going to show Drake May will show he'll run around. You'll know who the real quarterback is in the game, and it'll be Burrow. hitting his receivers. They'll score without Chase, but we'd rather have Chase. The Steelers and the Bears. Chicago, 2.5, 45.5. Oh, wait a minute. It's Rodgers, not Rudolph, I believe. If Rodgers is practicing and getting ready and getting a cast on his left hand, he ain't doing it for show. He's playing. He's passionate. He's still a superstar. I don't know. These people thinking Rodgers sucks. They're out of their fucking minds. Joe Montana, did he suck when he went to Kansas City and got him into the playoffs and beat Elway? I don't think so. So Pittsburgh, an over team, 26 defense, and Caleb, the dancer who can't throw a pass. And Pittsburgh, an E team with a 23 defense. They will get a lift if Rodgers is out there with his cast on. So this is what's delaying my picks this week. Who's the Giant quarterback? Is Burrow playing? Is Rodgers playing? We have to see that. And to quote this idiot on the radio, well, he got paid, so he should be playing, right? Rodgers got paid. Burrow got paid. They should all be playing, even if they can't walk or throw, because they got paid. What incredibly stupid logic. So again, Pitt is a very live dog with Rodgers. I mean, the Bears aren't very good anyway. I was listening on the radio when I went to the grocery store, and they said about Detroit, the Lions are fake, which I agree with. But the real fake team is the Bears at 7-3. Their schedule, they played nobody. This Pitt, if Rodgers played, Pitt should win this game. They're 6-4. They're a game up on Pitt. They have to win. This is like they must win. The Bears haven't played anybody, so I know they played the Lions and lost by 50. So Jacksonville, Arizona, Jacksonville 347.5. Trevor Lawrence against Brissett, I believe that's what it is. A no teaser trend there in the Pitts Chicago game. Jacksonville, Arizona, both E teams. Jacksonville 23 defense, Arizona a 26. I keep thinking they have a good defense, but then they start playing real teams because they played Carolina, New Orleans, the Jets, they played nobody, and now they start playing Stafford and the Niners, and all of a sudden, and even Darnell, and all of a sudden they're now a 26 defense. So again, it depends who they play. Arizona's 5-1 as a home dog, but play against them, it's 5-1. They play close games at home, usually. Play against Arizona this year, 9-1. Marvin Harrison's out. Who gives a shit? He sucks. And a couple other guys on defense. Nothing, not Buda Baker. So again, Marvin Harrison, a joke. Caleb, a joke. I'm so sick of these guys trying to promote him up. Oh, it's Caleb. Yeah, he sucks. God, watch the game. Fields is still good. Wait, why don't we play Oakland activated Aiden O'Connell? Let's get him out there and see if he can play. I hate that philosophy. Let's see what he can do. Well, we watched him in college, and we see he can't do anything. Aiden O'Connell sucks. One note, Atlanta, we'll get to them in a minute. They signed my guy, Kyle Trask. You put him in, they're going to win. He's excellent quarterback. He was out of Florida. He lit it up. And the problem is he's drafted by Tampa, and he's been the backup to Baker Mayfield. He was Brady's backup. And then they got Baker, and then Baker beat him out, and he hasn't played. But he's outstanding. Far better than Darnell and Caleb and all these other guys. So I hope Atlanta gets Trask out there. Then let's see what he can do, but we know he's a great quarterback. All right. Cleveland goes to Oakland. Oakland is 436, probably the biggest favorite they've been all year. Cleveland, a W team. They're a Z team with a 23 defense when Prime's the quarterback. Prime was 4 of 16 for 40 yards against Baltimore last week, and one of the completions was like 20 yards late in the game when they were giving him the pass. Sacked twice and an interception. So, yeah, he's ready. Yeah, let's make him the starter. So Geno Smith against Prime. Play against Cleveland as a road dog, 11-1, 5-0 this year, but we don't know what the Prime stats are going to look like. Probably a bunch of losses. He's not ready. You can see it all you want. You're going to see a guy that is not ready. Oakland is a Z team with the 25 defense. Cleveland a W with the 23. Well, we're going to make them a Z with Prime. They won't score. So Oakland -4. This is a W, and then the total at 37. I'm leaning towards that heavily. Prime is actually in the NFL. Oh my God. Atlanta, I guess he's got a bunch of tickets that he's not paying, and he owes people money and loan sharks and stuff like that. So, good quality guy. This the guy you want as your quarterback. Atlanta, New Orleans, 1.5, 39.5. We got Cousins against Shaw. Cousins is so bad. He's pathetic. Atlanta, an under team with the 24 defense. They're under with Penix, right? New Orleans, the Z team with the 25. Atlanta's 3-7. They really don't have a chance for the playoffs. Terrible coach. They need to fire the coach. He's terrible. Raheem Morris. What made you hire this guy and keep him? Oh my God. Let's see. So New Orleans can't be favored. They couldn't. New Orleans plays Ohio State. I'm taking Ohio State. I'll lay points with Ohio State. They're terrible. Shaw, he's okay, not great. Cousins is terrible. I don't see any scoring in this game either. Philly and Dallas, game of the week. Well, not really. Game of the week's the next one. Tampa, LA. Philly 347.5. This line keeps going down. It was 50, then 48, 47.5 now. Philly, an under team with a 20 defense, they stopped scoring. However, they get Dallas, an over team with a 29 defense. Just the medicine you need when you're not scoring. Barkley looks fine. I don't know why everybody thinks Barkley's not playing. He looked pretty good against the Lions. Hurts, he's very inconsistent, not very good. He makes some plays, but he doesn't understand it. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't do audibles, and basically all they do is the tush push, which the Lions actually solved. But I like the Baltimore version where they go around end with it. And I don't know that I would tush push Hurts. I think I would tush push Barkley, but I'd be afraid to get him hurt. So I'd find some tight end or something and use him. Who does Philly got? Zach Ertz or something. Or Dallas Goedert. Let him be. Why do you want to ruin your quarterback? You're just lucky he hasn't broke his leg yet, because I'm telling you, if I'm on the other team, he ain't walking out of the pile. I'm beaning Shotani, and Hurts is not walking out back to the bench. This is football. This is Dick Butkus, Ray Nitschke. No. You hurt the quarterback. You don't pick him up. If you do that, go. There's tennis. Go play tennis. Philly 3, an under team. Hurts. Dallas is a home dog. Play against 7-1. They are a terrible home dog. Philly is, you can bet against them this year. It's 9-1, but they're winning. They beat Green Bay 10-7. If you bet against them, you win. They beat Detroit 16-9. If you bet against them, you won. But also if you bet on them. I think they're 8-2 in a teaser this year. Overall, they're very good in a teaser. But again, they got the Super Bowl hangout. But when they start getting challenged, they can come on strong. They're sleeping through Dallas and the Giants and Washington, and then here come Detroit, and here comes Kansas City, and now this Dallas game, and that wakes them up. And when they're awake, they're the best team. Look out. So we'll see. In the NFC, it's going to be Philly and the Rams. That's it. Maybe. I don't know. Seattle just showed you they can't handle it. The Niners, they need Joe Montana back. The Lions, no chance. Green Bay, no chance. And if it's the Bears, forget about it. I don't know. I mean, Philly should have a good game here. because Dallas's defense sucks. Barkley should have a big game. Hurts should be able to throw. Dallas last week, 33-16 to Oakland. So we believe Dallas will get some points here, but they won't be able to stop Philadelphia. Philly with the tough defense, but I'm not sure. Prophet, how are you today? But no, I don't know, but I don't understand the under going down. Philly and Green Bay and Philly and Detroit is a whole different game than Philly and Dallas. Detroit with a 22 defense and Green Bay with a 20 defense, you would expect lower scoring games. You're playing a Dallas with the 29 defense. Oakland put up, 16 points on them. If Oakland's putting 16 points on you, Philly's putting up in the 20s. So I'm not buying the spread going down. There'll be a lot more points than that. Tampa, LA. LA is 6.5, 49.5. Tampa an over team, 25 defense. The Rams an A team with the 17 defense. So the Rams struggled with Darnell with 4 picks. Played a good defense. Tampa, a little weaker on defense at 25, but still played good. Baker against Stafford. Great matchup. Tampa, just both these teams in a teaser are beautiful. Tampa, 7-1 as a road dog. 24-4, their last 28. They did cover last week, getting 12.5. Play against the Rams as a home favorite, 7-1. They're not a great home team. And Tampa, 13-1 on the road last year and this year. LA counters going 25-4 in a teaser and 9-1 in a teaser this year. Now realize they can win both sides in a teaser, right? There's 12-point spread, so where they don't blow out at home like last week against Seattle. If you had Seattle, you won, even though LA won the game. So that's what you have. But you have a very Tampa 6-4. They kind of don't need the game because Atlanta's 3-7. New Orleans is Carolina's 6-5. Is Carolina really a 6-5 team? No, they're playing the Mickey Mouse schedule. They're playing the high school schedule. So Baker against Stafford. I don't see too many injuries. We'll check that over, but I think they got the running back. Forget Evans and whatchamacallit. And Godwin, their other receivers are fine. Abuka's fine, and there's some other guy they got. Who knows his name? Is playing well. So it's Baker is the key. He's playing. That's all we care about. He'll find receivers out of the stands. It doesn't matter. So 7's a pretty big number, 49.5. It's hard. You get a little gun shy because I had the over in the Seattle game, and then Darnold chokes. And then you're like, okay, now what do we do here? But we got Baker, not Darnell. We got a guy who's good. So I don't know. It's tough to go over after a loss. That's the hardest part about gambling. When you lose, you rethink everything. Oh, shit, I lost with the Rams over. Well, they should go over this week, but how can I play them? I lost with them last week. And that's really the problem. Profit. I just heard an interesting stat about Thursday Night Football. If you tease the favorite with the under, you'd be something like 8-2 against the spread. Well, probably the home team's very good on Thursday Night Football because they don't have to travel, right? So here's a team played Sunday and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they're traveling Wednesday to be there for Thursday. It's too short of a week. They're too tired. So I think that's the biggest thing is the road team is probably more tired just by taking the flight. As we know, if you fly, if I fly from Detroit to California, I'm tired. When I fly to Europe, I'm tired. I got to go take a nap, or stay awake and take a nap later. But I'm not fresh as a daisy at 7 a.m, Spain time when it's really 1 a.m. there. Now they don't have Buffalo doesn't. Yeah, they do have a time change. Actually, they gain because it's in Houston and they're on Central Time. So 8 in the morning is really 9 in the morning. So they get an extra hour to recover. So if we look at that, we got Houston getting 11 and a half. And then what did you say? If you tease the favorite, oh, that's Buffalo with the under. So if we take Buffalo and under 49, well, a lot of it is who's playing in the game, right? If you're playing over teams, you're probably not going to go under. But in this case, you got the Houston defense. So the under could work because it's Houston, not because it's Thursday night. That's the key you got to understand. When you get those stats, you've got to realize it's who's playing in the game. All right. Last game, Carolina goes to the Niners. The Niners 7-4. The Rams are 8-2. So the Niners are in a must-win. Carolina's in a must-win, but they're a joke. Niners 749.5. We got Carolina an under team with a 23 and Steve Young, who sucks, and San Francisco a B team with a 23 and looks like Purdy again. Now this is Monday Night Football, so go get your Monday night stats. Again, I think it's just I don't think Carolina really how Carolina's doing. They're not using Steve Young; they're just running the ball. And they're able to run it with Dowdell from Dallas. So all they're doing is running. Now the Niners, you're not going to run on them. Salah, and then Steve Young is going to have to beat you, and he can't. He's like Darnell. He's like Cousins. He's like all these idiots that are in the league for God knows what reason. The Niners look pretty good with Purdy back. They got the receiver back, who I don't like, Parcells. They got the it's really McCaffrey is the key. So Purdy, McCaffrey, Kittle, they're rolling. They're incredible with the injuries they get. They get a good GM who really spots the players, and they're not overpaying their receivers. Notice they let Ayuk and Deebo Samuel go because they realize those aren't the players you pay 25, 30 million. That's why their defense is pretty good. It's a 23 defense. So we'll see what happens Monday night. So we got to fill in the blanks. We need the Giants quarterback. We need Joe Burrow or not. We need Rodgers or not. And I would bet both of those guys will play. Those are the difference between winners and losers. Oh, yeah, the Tigers had a pitcher, Derek Skubal. Do you think he'd play? Both Rodgers and Burrow are playing injured. Burrow with the toe. Rodgers broke his wrist. And he's getting it fixed so he can play. Then there's Skubal on the Tigers. Oh, I pitched 6 innings. I got to go. And then the idiot on the radio going, well, he didn't get his money yet. Oh, but so he plays for free? He doesn't have a contract? Let's see if we can get Derek Skubal's contract. Derek Skubal currently contract is a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Tigers for the 2026 season, which he agreed to in January 25 to avoid arbitration. He is set to become a free agent. The Tigers reportedly offered less than $100 million for an extension after the 24 season. Skubal rejected it. I'd tell him to fuck off then. Current contract 1 year, $10 million for the 2026. So he probably made $10 million last year. Does he not have a contract? I'm sorry. Isn't that a contract? So he made $10 million. I'm the manager. You're pitching the 7th inning or you'll never pitch again. Fuck you. You can't put the player above the team. Aaron Rodgers is going to play with a broken wrist. Now it's his left wrist. He throws right-handed. Joe Burrow is going to play with a toe that needed surgery, and he can't wait to get in. Those are the difference between winners and losers. Derek Scooble's a loser. You got Mahomes as a winner. You got Rodgers as a winner and Burrow as a winner, and that's what separates them. They play to win. Derek Scooble does not play to win. If he's worried about injury, go play tennis. Go work at the Farmer Jack's or whatever they're called now. A&P, Kroger's, whatever. Go work at the grocery store. You're making $10 million and you can't pitch the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings of a game 5? Fuck off. I don't need you. You're not a winner. You and Jared Goff belong on the same team. Goff's a loser. Every time he plays a good team, he chokes. They needed a touchdown at the end of the Philadelphia game. They're down 16-9. Did he drive them the length of the field and score the touchdown to win the game? No. They lost 16-9. They didn't even – I think did they score a touchdown in the game? So he puts up one touchdown on them. Oh, Jalen Carter's coming. I better fall down, and he might hurt me. And now, wait, he got his money, and he still sucks. So the money game is bullshit. The person saying that is full of shit. That's bullshit. All the Japanese guys got their money in yuan or in dollars. And that Japanese pitcher isn't that good. I don't buy him. But you got to be kidding. Sandy Koufax is sitting in the crowd. You think he'd have pulled him off after 6 innings? Hell no. Jack Morris, he was in the crowd. No, you're not pulling him out. Scooble, on my arm, I just threw 100 miles an hour. You didn't pace yourself, you moron. You should have played that you've got to pitch all 9 innings. I am not taking you out after 6 because you're not even going to stay on the team. You're going to the Yankees. They can have damaged goods. What do I care? This is our only chance we're in the playoffs. If we win this game, then we play Toronto, which we would have gotten killed by, and then the Dodgers, which we would have got killed by. But you want to get in the World Series, you're only pitching 6 innings. Yeah. There's the grocery store down the store. Why don't you go work there? Or the Denny's or something. David, how are you? Well, why do they overthrow? That's the problem with baseball. I mean, they've tried 100 pitches in 5 days, but as you're saying, they throw too hard, which is why they're all getting injured. Why are they all throwing too hard? Why is 99 miles an hour the magic number? They're all hitting 99 miles an hour. And the fact that you have a bunch of hitters that can't even hit 200 in the league, I don't even understand that. Who is it? The Chicago, the Cleveland Indians, 7 of their guys didn't hit 200. They hit 140, 150. They only had, one guy and then the leadoff hitter. Those are the only 2 hitters they had, and they made the playoffs, and they beat out the Tigers. But you had a bunch of 150 hitters. Really? This is Major League Baseball now? Yeah, I don't think so. But yes, why do they overthrow is the question. All right. So in this mess, I'm still waiting on a free pick. My guess is the Lions will be the free pick. Let's see if we got some news. Do we have more news on the quarter? Like Wednesday, they kind of update the injuries. Today's Thursday. Let's see news. Now, I know Kincaid's out for Buffalo and C.J. Stroud's out for Houston, which is probably a good thing. Texans running back Joe Mixon reportedly not expected to play this season. Oh, well, we don't give a fuck. Okay, injury updates. Prime Junior to start. So are we low? Should I make Oakland the free play? Because there's no way Prime Junior is beating Oakland. Oakland's got to be like, wow, this is a game we can beat. First start. Joe Burrow, full participant in practice. Michael Penix out for the season. We know we got Kirk Cousins. We start in Cleveland. Why are you starting in Cleveland? All right. So Joe Mixon, who I never thought was any good anyway at Cincinnati, he's on Houston, and he's not any good there. What a terrible move. He's on Cincinnati with Joe Burrow, and he leaves to go to Houston. What is he thinking? Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts remains unbothered by mounting frustration and criticisms. Oh, you mean the fact that he sucks? Why would that bother him? He sucked at Oklahoma. He sucked at Alabama. He had to go to Oklahoma, and he didn't do anything but run there. He remains unbothered by mounting frustrations and criticism. That's bullshit. Believe me, Jalen Hurts, if he's a real man and he has passion and pride, he's hurt. He should be hurt from himself, knowing he sucks. I get hurt when I have a bad week. If I go 6-6, I'm hurt. I'm pissed at myself. You don't need to tell me I suck because I know I suck and I go 6. However, when I go 12-2, then I'm pretty happy with myself. And I've been red hot the last 3 weeks, and this week should be the next 2 weeks. I should be red hot because it's much easier. They need the game for the playoffs. This guy's not playing college. I mean, I already got 4 locks in college. It's a fucking joke. Texans versus Bills odds predictions, best bet. Who gives a shit? See, this is the problem. Why would you listen to this guy giving you the pick? Who is he? Why would you listen? You're showing me a stat profit on the favorite yeah. Oh, Buffalo. How were they when they went to Miami and they didn't even dress? I mean, it's who are they playing is who you got to see. Yeah, you don't have to throw 100 to be effective. You got to mix it up and down, inside, outside, and you vary your speed. 60 miles an hour, 80, 90. You're not hitting that. You don't know what the speed is. I was in Little League. I was a real good hitter. And normally they pitched, I don't know what they pitched, but pretty good. And it was a Saturday, and the guy couldn't pitch. He pitched like very slow. And everybody was striking out because our timing was off. So we were seeing the ball and we'd swing, but the ball hadn't got to the plate yet. So I learned how to wait for the ball. But he threw 20 miles an hour, and it was the fact that timing was off. So that's what you're trying to do, is get the timing off, not throw 100 miles an hour. These are major league hitters. They will hit 100 mile an hour. Just ask Guerrero Jr., right? And ask Dante Pachette. Now, what's Dante Pachette doing going to a different team? Was he an idiot? Why would you go to a different team? This is the problem with the guys now. They chase the money. First of all, if you're not getting paid in gold, you're not making a cent. Secondly, you're in Toronto. You went to the World Series. Where are you going? We'll go to Kansas City. We'll go to Minnesota and do what? What a bunch of idiots. David, I hope so. Their defense is awful. Oakland's is. Knuckleballers are effective because of the movement. No, because of the speed and because it doesn't move. The knuckleball comes in, it doesn't spin, and it just sits there. It's very slow, and then it drops. That's what you're talking about. It's the drop or the movement, but it's also because it's very slow. Their timing's all off. All right. So we got Penix ruled out for the rest of the year. Packers running back Josh Jacobs will participate in individual drills on Thursday, so he's probably playing. 49ers signed Matt Gay. See, if they start practicing like Joe Burrow, a full participant, he ain't there for his health. I mean, well, he's not there just to fuck around and waste time. He's playing if he's practicing. 49ers signed Matt Gay to the practice squad. Who cares? They signed that one kicker from Michigan. He sucked. He's terrible. Then it's ironic. At Michigan, he never missed a kick. Field goal, extra point. He made them all. He goes to the Niners, and he must have got paid off because you can't make them all in college and miss them all in the pros, especially big ones. He cost us money by missing a game against Cleveland. They needed the kick to win the game. The spread was even. It was 6 down to even. Just kick the field goal, win the game, and he misses it. Clearly convinced he was in trouble and took the fix. Browns defensive end Alex Wright agreed that we don't care. Will Joe Burrow play Sunday? We don't know yet. Oh, bullshit. He's a full participant in practice. What do you think he's doing there? If his toes are right, he's playing. We don't know yet when it came to whether Joe Burrow would play Sunday against the Patriots. I'm not there yet. We will use the time. Joe Burrow's playing. Give me a fucking break. No, he's out practicing for that because he's bored being at home with his toe. Illness hits Buccaneers hard ahead of game of Rams. 20 Buccaneer players and coaches missed Wednesday's walkthrough due to an illness. Head coach Todd Boyles revealed. Why did he reveal that? Quarterback Baker, wide receiver Mbagwa, defensive lineman, and were among those under the weather. Unfortunately, this Wednesday, a lot of people have taken ill. There was a bug going around the building. We had 5 coaches, 15 players down. So they just need to fast. So we got to hold off on Tampa, but notice the spread went from 7 to 6.5. Is this real or is this a story he's planning? Did they really, because who knows what's real? But I think that they'll all play. This is football. This is not baseball. Oh, I don't feel well. I'm not going to play. No, this is football. You play once a week. I guarantee Baker and all these players play. Even if they're sick. We saw Michael Jordan do it in the playoffs. He had a flu. Yeah, he's playing. Aaron Donald not slowing down in retirement. Who gives a shit? Why is that part of the injury part? Joe Flacco hoping to play in 26. Who cares? Rams plays safety Quentin Lake, tight end Higbee, right tackle Haverson on IR. So the safety Lake is an all-pro. Tyler Higbee's a good tight end. So we like Tampa provided they play, and losing a safety's a critical thing. All right, I think that's it. NFL power rankings, don't waste your time. How to watch the Buffalo Houston game. It's called the TV. It's so stupid. How to watch. Prime Jr. gets first NFL start. Penix done for the year. At Chiefs. What's this say? And Chiefs at Crossroads. Yeah, well. Okay, so that's what you got. We've done teaser trends. Overall in a teaser, the Rams are these are 85% and higher this year and including last year. The Rams, New England, and Indy, the newcomers with weak schedules. Houston and Denver. Denver's got to play Kansas City, and they had to play Philly, so they're not in a weak schedule. Seattle and Tampa. Those are the teams that you want to focus on. That's why I like Tampa in a teaser. They're very strong. I've already gone through that. So the Rams and Tampa play each other. New England and KC. New England, Cincinnati, Indy and KC. I'm shocked. I'm shocked Indy's not favored. They're the best team in the league. Playing against teams, Miami, who just sucks, Tennessee, Cincinnati, but that's without Joe Burrow, Arizona, Philly, but they've been winning, but not by a lot, and New Orleans. So we got Atlanta playing New Orleans. We got New Orleans favored. We got Oakland favored. I mean, the whole thing's crazy. So tonight, I don't know what to tell you to play. It's hard to go against Josh Allen. Houston, you don't have C.J. Stroud, who's not very good anyway. Mills, I don't think there's much of a drop down. Houston 26-3 in a teaser, 10-0 this year. Hard to go against 10-0. I think the defense will shut down Buffalo fairly good. This is not a defense that Josh Allen wants to face because he can't handle blitzes. And if he tries to run, so Houston's going to be dominant defensively in the game. but they won't score with Mills. Buffalo's 23 defense. So I don't know. It's hard to go against Houston 10-0 in a teaser at home, except for you got Mills. But he won last week barely against Tennessee. That's why they call it gambling. How do we predict the game with Mills versus Stroud? We know Stroud stinks, but Mills, it's going to be the defense. It's going to be Buffalo on a short week, traveling to Houston. All these put into it. Again, Buffalo is much better at home than on the road. Free play, nothing yet, but leaning towards Detroit, lane 4. Again, if it's Winston, this looks like a Winston spread, 10. I mean, that's what it looks like. So we will see. I got my avocado out, but I'm not eating it. I think I'll go to the pool and then eat after the pool. So I think I'll eat tonight, which will be 48 hours. Nice. So that's it. So let's look at college. Now you have a free pick in college, Air Force. Maybe I'll just give you 2 college free picks because I got 20 of them. This is a huge week in college. Jesus Christ. As good as it is in college, is as tough as it is in the pros. You got a few games. KC must win. Yeah, I'll probably play them, but it's between the shit teams and all the injuries. And then I got Aaron Rodgers trying to play with a broken wrist. But again, he might have broke like this bone, not necessarily this. I don't know what he broke. But he is trying to play. All right. Let's look at yesterday. We had Miami of Ohio and Buffalo. And Miami of Ohio won 37-20. They were down like 20-17 and made a big comeback. Central, I had Central 28-16 against the Kent State Z team. So they were laying 8 down to 2. I did not play them on the site. I just picked them. So I do that a lot. Like I'll pick a game, but I don't bet it. There's too many games I liked that I couldn't bet them all. But I did think Central because they're playing the Z team. So both Z teams lost. Ohio with the teaser beats UMass, and then Central in the teaser, well, they win by 12, laying 8 to Kent State. They didn't blow them out, but they got enough. Tonight's game. My Lou Lafayette. I love Lou Lafayette, but their quarterback's been out and their backup's been in. He's okay. Arkansas State 2.5, 53.5. We've got Lou Lafayette, an E team, and I changed their defense from 30 to 26. And then Arkansas State, an E team with the 26. So this is a pretty damn even game. It's Arkansas State, not Arkansas. So again, this is a Sun Belt game. I don't know. I have no comment on it. Friday, we have 2 games. We got Florida State 4.5, 59.5, down from 61, but I think they're playing games with it, so I'll call it a 60. And then we've got Hawaii and Vegas. Vegas 3, 64.5. Hawaii is an over. They're both over teams. Hawaii's got a pretty good quarterback, and Vegas just no defense, but they score a ton. They got the old Mississippi State coach as their coach. Saturday, let's look at big games. SMU 2.5, 52.5 to Louisville. Ohio State 31.5, 55.5. Let's see if the receivers are playing. Both receivers are injured, but they're questionable. And oh, by the way, they have Michigan next week. No, it's not saying here. Sometimes they'll put in the headlines, the receivers, right? But they're not helping me here. So we don't know. 31.5, 55.5. Now, what we do know, they're not going to fuck around at the end of the game. He likes Shiano. He used to coach at Ohio State. And they got Michigan next week, which means they're not going to risk a stupid injury trying to cover a 31-point spread. Total 55.5. Rutgers is a over team with the 30 defense. Ohio State an A with the 7. Problem is Ohio State. The difference is Georgia, when they were 7 and we under them every week, they didn't really. They'd put up 30 points. They'd run the ball and they'd get up 35 to nothing, and that was it. They never forced it. Ohio State's scoring unnecessarily with 41-10 leads to fuck up the unders to cover the 34-point spreads. And that's the difference. Ohio State is scoring. They did that against Washington on me, scoring late. We had Washington in like 14 at home. And so there's a lot of bullshit Ohio State does with these late touchdowns. But when you got Michigan next week, I don't think he's going to do that. So we will see. I don't really know how to bet Ohio State. I've been betting them under, and they're sometimes when they play Wisconsin, Purdue, they stayed under. Penn State, they went over. Last week they went over, which was bullshit. This week, like I say, with Rutgers. So very interesting team. Very good A team, but it's hard betting them over with this defense because the other team's not going to score. All right. Let's see. Missouri, Oklahoma. Oklahoma 7.5, 41.5. Now they're still talking about the quarterback playing, which I don't buy. The guy dislocates his ankle. I thought he broke it. Dislocated the ankle, and Missouri quarterback injury will play a factor. Quarterback is still listed as doubtful, so I don't see the quarterback playing. All right. So I'm not seeing that he's playing. I didn't think he would. I thought he broke his ankle the way Vanderbilt guy got it and he went back and it just looked like it snapped. So I can't believe this guy is like, but look at him. Oh, Schoolball. Oh, I threw 100 pitches, guys. I can't play. Here's the guy with a broken ankle is like, oh, let me play, coach. That's the difference between football and baseball. And he didn't get the money, the Missouri quarterback. He didn't get any money. Well, I don't know what he got. I'm sure he got NIL money, but why play? He's already got his money. Interesting game here. I was just watching Oklahoma, Bama, and they put pressure on Ty Simpson, who everybody says how good he is. He's not. He threw, 3 picks in the game, 1 in the end zone, 1 at the 10 for an 80-yard, at the 20 for an 80-yard interception return. On a team that can't score, you're throwing 80-yard interception returns. And then at the end, he choked and he didn't win the game. His choice was bad. The play calls were bad at the end. But Oklahoma showed defense, which we know they have. Oklahoma is a 14 defense, pretty much, and Missouri's a 20. The bad game, Oklahoma, they gave up 23 to Arch Manning somehow. I'm sure it wasn't Arch Manning. My thought on this game is Oklahoma will play. In other words, you see like Buffalo, Kansas City, and then the next week they're flat against Miami. And they didn't come to play. That's not going to be the case here. Oklahoma is coming to play. They beat Alabama, and they were emotional, and they know Missouri is good, but without the quarterback, you're laying 7.5. Now, Oklahoma, that quarterback material is not very good. Their defense is great defense, great secondary. Missouri has a running back who ran for 300 yards against Old Mississippi State last week, but you're not running for 300 yards against Oklahoma's defense, I guarantee it. And especially you don't have a quarterback. Again, this is where you're playing a 30 defense in Mississippi State, and now you got a 14 defense in Oklahoma. This guy wouldn't be able to run for 300 yards on Ohio State either. So that's what we got to look at. So I do not think Oklahoma will not be flat in this game, and I believe this is their senior day. Sooner Boomer on this one. Absolutely. Yeah, their defense. Here you're betting the defense. The coach sucks, but you're betting the defense. Quarterbacks, But again, against Alabama, they were able to put up 23 points, I think, or 26. What was the final score? Alabama. There it was. 23-21 Oklahoma. So they put up, they didn't really put up 23, right? They had a pick 6, so they really put up 16. But they had 2 or 3 picks. So it's just going to be them stopping the running back, which I'll put a safety in the box, and he stopped, a.k.a. Buddy Ryan. So look for Oklahoma here. They're 8-2. They did lose to Texas. So careful on that one. My phone's running out of power, so I will have to make this quick. Miami, 17.5, 48.5 against VTech. Kansas, Iowa State 4, 55.5 to Kansas. Kansas, always a live dog in these type of games. Georgia, 43.5, 53.5 to Charlotte. I think they're going to put up a 60 on them. I just have this feeling they're 9-1. This is a game at home. They got to put up 60. They got to move up in the rankings and everything. So they play Georgia Tech next week. Don't sit on Georgia Tech. They almost beat them last year, Georgia Tech. Baylor, Arizona. Arizona 7, 62.5. It's Baylor. You know what to do. Let's see. Auburn and Mercer. Should we take Auburn over Mercer? Oh, we got to lay 100 points? Maybe not. South Florida, UAB. South Florida, 21.5, 69.5. This number is way fucking too high. 69.5 is not happening. I don't know where they got this number from. Let me find the game. You have to be kidding me. Yes, South Florida scores. UAB is not scoring in this game. They are not. They're a 38 defense. So South Florida is going to score 50. UAB's maybe 50-14. Maybe, but I don't think it goes maybe 40-14. South Florida, very explosive, but UAB is not. So the 69 is way high, I think. Syracuse, Notre Dame. Syracuse starting their walk-on quarterback. The other guy's injured. The other first guy broke his leg. Notre Dame, you know them at home. They got to show off, and the leprechaun will be, they want to make the leprechaun do 80 push-ups. So look for a huge Notre Dame score. Arkansas, Texas 9, 57.5. This was 10, so Arkansas money. It must be Arch Manning. We know Arkansas over team, 32 defense, played A&M 41-40 or 44-41. So Texas does not have as strong defense as I thought. It might say I adjusted. Here's the adjustment to Texas defense. The total year they're an 18. When I looked at the last 5, they were 25. They gave up 30 to Georgia. They gave up 30 to Old Mississippi State. They gave up 30 to Vanderbilt. Yeah, okay. Speaking of Vanderbilt, 9.5, 53.5 to Kentucky. I cannot figure this game out. I am going nuts. I want to bet Vandy, but when I look at Kentucky, there's games they win by 20. There's games they lose by 30. There's games they shut out the other team. There's games they give up 50. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know. It's hard not to bet on Daggio. They're 8-2. They need the game maybe to make the playoff. I don't know. USC, Oregon, 9.5, 59.5. Tease the dog. Michigan State, Iowa, 16.5, 42.5. This is homecoming. Michigan State, their starting quarterback's out. Their backup's been playing. He's okay. Iowa played Oregon, very tough, and USC, very tough. They are at home, and you know how they do at home. Enough said. Michigan, Maryland. Michigan's, I believe, both their running backs are out. Maryland's not scoring. Michigan's quarterback's terrible. They paid a lot of money for a guy who sucks, and then Maryland's, they're just not scoring. So I don't know. I think it's Michigan's defense here. Georgia State, Troy. I'm staying away from this one. Troy's 10.5, 51.5. We've been pounding against Georgia State, easy money, but Troy, they might win. Georgia State's 1-9, and Troy will win. They got to win by 4.5. They should do it, but leave it to Troy to win by 3 here. So I'm ignoring it. Kansas State at Utah. Utah 17.5, 51.5. I mean, this is Utah's a great team, a great defense. Kansas State can score. Utah is going to torch them. So Utah's 8-2, also looking to get in the playoff. It's hard because they're in the Big 12 and they lost to BYU and Texas Tech. So we'll see, but they'll play at home. Our Coastal Carolina goes to South Carolina. South Carolina's laying 24.5, 49.5, a game we can't touch. You cannot play Coastal Carolina against SEC teams like we do against Sunbelt teams. 24.5. Are they a live dog at 30.5? Possibly. I think Lenora Sellers has a big game running. Defensively, South Carolina is a 23. But they shut out A&M the first half, so they could easily do that to Coastal Carolina. A game we can only watch. Lou Monroe, Texas State 17.5, 57.5. Lou Monroe, the Z team, where is that? Okay. Lou Monroe, the Z team, Texas State, the over team. They both have 32 defenses. Hard to go over 55 as jump to 57. Well, it's still hard to go over because Lou Monroe can't score. And they have a 32 defense. So look for Texas State here. Nebraska, Penn State. Penn State is now down to 8.5, 44.5. I wonder what's going on here. As far as I know, Rayola's out for the year. Let me just check. Why is the line going down? Penn State with a great defense, Nebraska with a great defense. They're both 20 defenses. No, I don't. As far as I know, Rayola's out for the year. So Nebraska with the backup quarterback, they beat UCLA 28-21 last week or 2 weeks ago. I think it was last week. Go to Penn State. Penn State's playing better. They've now won 4 games. They were 3-0, went to 3-6. Yeah, they beat UCLA last week. So I don't know. The line's going on Penn State. Nebraska, good defense. But UCLA's backup quarter, or no, that was against Ohio State. Forget it. Yeah, so they did play 2 weeks ago because UCLA played Ohio State last week. Okay. Conveniently, the UCLA quarterback wasn't feeling well, so he sat out the loss. Pitt goes to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech 2.5, 61.5. Georgia Tech 9-1, FYI. Pitt 7-3. What is this? 2.5. I believe Pitt's playing their backup quarterback. Total of 61.5. I got to see how Pitt's doing the last few games if we can take them. I went through most of the games where I looked at the last 5, but there's so many I've missed a few, and I wanted to get into the pros a little bit. This could be an over. We'll see. Otherwise, it's a Georgia Tech. The Air Force in New Mexico. That's our free play. 3.5, 55.5. This is an under play. Well, I got 56.5. Go under 62.5. And then go buy gold with it after. Air Force switched. They went from trying to throw the ball, playing very high scoring games, to now running the ball down your throat, shortening the game, less things, and they are an under team. Oh, but Vegas hasn't caught on yet, but we have. That's why you pay me the big money. North Texas, 17.5, 55.5 to Rice. North Texas, 9-1. Great team. A team. Look out. Tennessee, Florida. Tennessee, 4.5, 57.5. Line hasn't moved. Tennessee, we know they score 1,000 points. 29 defense. Florida under with the 23. I was watching the Florida Old Mississippi game to get a feel. So I think they'll give it. I think it'll be a tighter game. I think Florida could be a live dog here. Tennessee better at home, like Buffalo, right, tonight. The Cal Stanford game, I'm betting on the Tuba player to score a touchdown. Cal 3, 46.5. No, thank you. Illinois goes to Wisconsin. Illinois 7.5, 40.5. Wisconsin beat Washington, then got killed the next game. 3-7. Illinois with Altmaier, good quarterback. BYU, Cincinnati. BYU 2.5, 55.5. BYU an A team with the 17 defense. Cincinnati a B team with the 22 defense. Yeah, I mean, this is BYU has to win this game. Absolutely. Arizona State and Colorado, just to make fun of Prime. Arizona State 7, 47.5. Washington goes to UCLA. Washington 10.5, 51.5. Washington still an A team with the 19 defense. They did lose at Wisconsin, but they're not going to the West Coast, to the East Coast this time. UCLA is at home. UCLA is a mixed team. They went to the new coordinator. They won 3 games. Then they played Indiana, and then they played Ohio State. And the quarterback sat out the Ohio State game. So we don't care if he played or no. This is UCLA I'm talking about. So UCLA, it's hard to put a number on them. Washington's a good team, good coach. I think the quarterback's good, but he's a freshman, so we need him back next year. We'll really be jumping on Washington. So we'll see. And that's college. Again, the one free pick is Air Force under with New Mexico as they flip to an under team. 56 is way too high, and this game should be a 42. Thank you very much. And I'm tempted. If I can't find a pro game, I'll give you another college lock tomorrow. Waiting on the Lions. Is it Dart or is it Winston? If it's Winston, the Detroit's the free play line. Lay the 10. If it's Dart, Detroit's probably still the free play, laying the 4. Let's see about Burrow. Let's see about Rodgers, uh, Prime Junior. I mean, what are you kidding me? Prime Junior? Prime Junior playing in the NFL. Nobody wanted him. Nobody drafted him because Gabriel gets a concussion, not because he's good. See, that's the difference. He's not there because he's a good, like Gabriel. Well, he was there because they got rid of Flacco, but like Daniels, like Bo Nix, they're there because they're good. And if they weren't good, believe me, Sean Payton wouldn't be playing Bo Nix. All right, that's football. We talked economics before. We talked Bitcoin. So the problem with Bitcoin, even if you hold it, I will leave you with this. Bitcoin can never be money because it's not real. Number one, you can't hold it. And number two, it's in money, right? The value comes from the money where gold is gold. So if you have Bitcoin and the dollar collapses, then what happens? What's it worth? Nothing. And I like how people say, well, it'll be worth whatever a Bitcoin's worth. A Bitcoin's not worth anything. It's valued in dollars. There's no such thing as a Bitcoin. So be careful with the Bitcoin. It is not money. The closest I can come, Bitcoin is like a stock without a company. So you can buy Microsoft, right? But you have a company that's making money. So you own part of the company. That's what a stock is. Mutual fund are a bunch of stocks that are companies. Real estate trust is you're buying people's mortgages, and since they pay more on their mortgage, you get a higher rate of return than you would in a CD, with supposedly no risk because it's mortgages. Who doesn't pay their mortgage? Well, people who got the houses for free who think, oh, real estate's a good investment, which it's not. And oh, by the way, I'm going to buy 5 houses. And when interest rates go up, which they always have to, because they were ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages, the rate adjusts every year or two. It goes up 2 points, and then your mortgage goes up. So from that standpoint, all these are in dollars will go out, because if the dollar has no value, what can they be? But gold has value in the gold, and the silver does not need to be priced in dollars. That's why I take you to gold, where if you're in Bitcoin, it's based on the dollars. And we saw it's down to 88,000 today, Bitcoin. 88,000 what? Oh, dollars. So what's a Bitcoin worth? Well, without the dollars, it's worth zero. The dollars collapse. So what's Bitcoin worth? Nothing. It can't be used as money because nobody will take it. I can't go to the grocery store and take it, right? I can't. Hey, Kroger's, I want to buy groceries. I can probably use an ounce of silver, maybe not now, but soon. I know I can go to the barbecue restaurant and give him an ounce of silver to pay for my meal. That's money. He will take it. People like gold and silver. They will take it. They don't like the other. Profit. Bitcoin looks to be in a long-term down cycle right now. Well, Bitcoin's going out because it's not valued by anything. See, what happens is, this is the hidden part. As people need money, they sell the assets that they can. Normally, it's stocks. This Bitcoin's a new thing. But if I need to pay my mortgage and I get laid off of my job and I'm not smart enough to have gold and silver, I bought Bitcoin or I got stocks. Oh, I need to pay expenses. I sell my Bitcoin. I sell my assets, right? And that's the point. What Warren Buffett doesn't understand is the dollar has no value. So he's sitting on like $300 billion or whatever. They said $30 billion. What he doesn't understand is they're worthless. He should be in gold, but he's too stupid to understand that gold is the play. He doesn't own gold or silver. Some people think, oh, I'll buy an ETF. You don't own gold or silver in an ETF either. Talking about confiscation. They will not confiscate your gold or silver. They will go after the Bitcoin. They will steal your stocks, but they don't think. See, the way the playbook's set up is the financial planner gets you into stocks, and bonds and real estate trusts, and then, oh, your friends get you into Bitcoin. So the government's going to go after that. They're going to go after your Bitcoin. They're going to go after your stocks. They're not going to go after gold because nobody has it. And one guy's out there saying, oh, they went door to door. They did not go door to door to pick up your gold. They went to the banks, and people kept their money in the banks for safety like you do now. Why do you have 100 grand in the bank? Because you don't want to have it in your house. Why do you have 100 grand? Period. It should be in gold, and find a safe for the gold in a safe place and not in the safety deposit box at a bank. And so that's the difference. The Bitcoin can never be money because you'd have to have a Bitcoin wallet to accept it. You can't pay me in Bitcoin for Teaser King, and I don't want anybody to give me a tip in Bitcoin here. You can't use it; it's worthless, right? It's what am I going to do? Go to Kroger and say, "Well, I have a Bitcoin. Can I buy groceries?" No, we don't take it. Then it isn't money. I can't go on a vacation with it. It isn't money. And people say, well, you can take it to Greece and, you have $100,000. You can go to the ATM. It's bullshit. What am I going to do? How am I going to get the money? Oh, I'll go to an ATM and get what? Greek money or, euros or whatever they're on. So nobody deals in Bitcoin. I can't go to the hotel in Greece or Germany or France or wherever and use Bitcoin to pay for it. So it can't be money because money is what's used to pay for things. The medium of exchange, you go to work to get money, to pay your expenses, and then to go buy groceries and restaurants and movies and vacations and baseball bats and gold and stuff. But that's what money is. It buys you things. Bitcoin doesn't buy you anything. Nobody takes it. Very few. And so the value of it is just bullshit. It's misled, and it's priced in dollars, which are going out. So again, as I started the class, we got a $38 trillion debt problem, of which we need to go bankrupt, of which if we try to pay the Russians and Chinese in Bitcoin, they're just going to laugh. China doesn't even take Bitcoin. They don't want it. So that's not the option. I'm going to pay in Bitcoin. It says it's worth $1 million. Oh, really? But the dollar isn't worth anything. Oops. So nobody wants Bitcoin. It's not money. So don't get caught in the scheme of, it's going to $1 million. Yeah, it's not. Well, they're going to revalue it in $1 million to pay off the debt. Okay, but you're not going to have it because if they ever did that, which they won't, because the dollar won't have a value, then go get your money. Oh no, they're gonna steal it from me. They're not gonna let me have the $1 million because they know who has the Bitcoin, even though it was supposed to be secret. They know who has it. So Bitcoin is not real. It's not backed by anything. It's just valued in dollars. If the dollar goes down, does Bitcoin go up? No. Does gold? No. I'm so sick of that one. Gold does not go up because the dollar goes down. Because if it did, then why does gold go down? Because the dollar is not getting stronger. So alligator, boys, you're fucked up. The gold goes up because of demand, like any other asset. Gold goes up because it's an asset, and it goes up because of demand, not because the dollar goes down. The fact it needs more dollars to buy the same ounce you bought in 1971 is fine, but to get to that number, 4,000, 5,000, 20,000, is based on demand. So you don't quite have the full picture, alligator. It is not the dollar going down. It's not gold not going up, the dollar going down. It is gold going up. So quit giving out false information, alligator. People listen to you because they think you know what you're talking about. And by the way, alligator is not an economist. He's a banker. He's trying to come out like he's an economist now. He's not. He's just a banker. That's it. Mark McGuire is a banker and a stockbroker. These guys are not economists. The closest is Egon. That's why it's very hard. Peter Schiff and Andy Scheckman, these are salesmen. They're not economists. They don't know. Well, I read Jim Reichert's, and he's a lawyer. Like, stop already, people. You're fucking idiots. Anyway, I will leave you with that. It's 1:20. I got a 2:00 call. I would normally eat lunch now, but guess what? I am not eating. I'm going to take my call. I'm going to go to the pool, and I'll probably eat about 6 o'clock. I'll be 40. So I'll eat at 5 o'clock, 47. It's an 11 number. So I'm very cautious on my 7 and 11s. And by the way, if you go to Speedway gas station, I don't know if you have one near you, it is really 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven bought it. 7-Eleven raised the prices. It's not worth going to anymore. So be careful going to it. Just find somewhere, find another gas station that's relatively inexpensive if you can. Otherwise, just go to Walmart, or I don't know. Aldi's not really in range to go to. It's far away. Walmart, a little far away, but not. It's close to the pool. And then I go to Meijer's. Seems to be reasonable enough. I got to get a roast for Thanksgiving, I believe, which I believe I will do that this weekend. And hopefully they go on sale a little bit. They're like $11. These are $7 roasts. They're now $11. Like, Jesus. But you got to understand, that is the money going down. So they need more money to buy the roast. However, the demand creates the roast price of the $11. So I'm hoping, because turkeys are on sale because of Thanksgiving, that roast will also, and steaks will also go on sale. And I'll wait till Monday to buy my thing, but I don't think I'll buy turkey. I don't want 10 pounds of turkey. Yeah, if Daria or Jenna were here, yeah, but not that. Anyway, that's it. Have a good day. www.teaserking.com. 2 locks, 4 teams in locks posted. You can play a nice 4-team teaser with another. There's another 3 games that I seriously could lock. The way I see it, I could easily lock these 2. So we will see. But yeah, I'm just salivating this college week. Unfortunately, the pros are a little bit more difficult this week, waiting on injuries. I would say the biggest need is Detroit must win, Kansas City must win. And that's it. Oakland must win, right? Yeah. And that's it. I mean, the Rams and Tampa it's not a must win. Tampa's in the lead in their division. Well, they're actually tied with Carolina, if you can believe that. Maybe the Niners are a must win. They're behind the Rams and Seattle. So, yeah, the Niners, and they seem to be playing well. So there's a few. That's what you're looking for, is the edge. And that's why you ignore Atlanta, New Orleans, Cleveland, Oakland, Jacksonville, Arizona. And you got to be careful with Joe Burrow. You got to be careful with Aaron Rodgers. Pitt could be the free play. If Aaron Rodgers plays, then we definitely like Pitt over the Bears. And Caleb the bad. All right, I will leave you with that. 2 o'clock interview. It's not long. It'll be 15, 20 minutes. It probably won't lead to anything, but we'll see. It's with Penske, who I don't know why they're hiring, because they're automotive, but maybe they do more stuff. Bitcoin looks to be in a long-term. Yes, we know. Oakland should tank the rest of the season and get the first draft pick. I don't know if they did. They could get the first. You got the Giants, the Jets, New Orleans. You got some pretty bad teams in there. Well, let's look at the worst team. I don't want to get out of there. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Okay, we leave you with gold. The problem is I always come on at like 10 o'clock, so just as the gold's dropping, but that's okay. Let's see. It bounced back a little, then bounced down. It's 40.58. So we bounced down to 40.52, then we bounced up to 40.73, then we bounced down to 40. What is this? This is a joke. This isn't real. This is pathetic that they're pricing gold using this method of fucking options and derivatives. Silver 50.55. This is absolutely the biggest fucking Ponzi scheme I've ever seen. This is such a joke. Oh, we'll go down to 40.40. Oh, is that the price of gold? Well, no, the price of gold's 41.05. Oh, is that the price of gold? No, the price of gold's 40.52. Is that? Oh, no, it's 40.71. Can we get off the options, please, and get to real physical prices like every other fucking item in the world? You don't option Picasso's, and you don't option Canadian Club, and you don't option my glasses, and you don't option my shirts. What the fuck are you doing with this bullshit? Let's option gold and silver. Let's price fix it. Hello, fuck you. Stop with this price fixing bullshit. All right, 40, 60. So, it's just, I can't wait for China to take the pricing of physical, and we'll get a $20,000 price. They think that when we go on the gold standard that they'll fix the price. They won't fix the price. Why would they fix it? Oh, we'll fix it at 20,000 an ounce. No, you won't. And by the way, the Chinese yuan is not going to be the global reserve currency because it's worthless too. In fact, every dollar, it's like saying the euro is the global. No, it's worthless. The British pound is worthless. The Canadian dollar is worthless. The US dollar, they're all worthless. None of them are the reserve. The gold and the silver are the reserve currency. Fucking idiots. It's hard to be me because all you hear is this bullshit. And you just want to just like, can I get anybody with the brain? This is why I enjoy the class, because we can talk like this and we can talk about our subjects that I cannot talk to normal people because normal people are too stupid to talk to. There's a saying in the Stoics, why we're alone. Stoic people, because you can't handle these idiots. Once you know what, today is Thursday and everybody says it's Tuesday, you're like, I can't even talk to these people. They're so fucking stupid. All right, I will leave you with that. 2:00 interview. Have a good day. I don't know what to tell you tonight. I'd be afraid of Baltimore or Buffalo. Buffalo on the road. Oh yeah, you got Davis Mills. So that's okay, but it's a tough. You got that killer Houston defense to thwart that. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't played it yet. I might play it, but I haven't played any pros yet. So I'm determining if I should play it. I got it a little bit more. I mean, the game's not till 8:00. So, but I need to post for my buyers. So I'll post it soon. I think I know where I'm going with it. All right. Have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Come get your locks. Come get all your college plays. All right. Take care. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. Buy your gold and silver.